All right, well, welcome everyone to this call today. It is the Neumi call. We are so excited always, and I am absolutely honored to introduce the man behind it all, Stephen K. Scott. This is Dr. Jerry Shaw, and this is the greatest. It's ending up to be the greatest opportunity of my entire lifetime, times 10, times 100 possibly, yet to be determined. But Stephen Scott is the man behind it all, and I've known about him since about early in the 2000s, let's just say that. And I've known about his acclaim from back then, always wanted to meet the man, knew that he was an accomplished author, knew that he'd written the richest man who ever lived, and how he was driven from the book of Proverbs to this great success, how he had dozens of multi-million-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies even. And he's the man that's brought us breakthrough products for the past 4 decades. It's like just this success leaves clues, folks. And the great thing about him, he's all in his heart, and he knows where he came from, and he knows who's behind it. And there's no ego here. It's just a mission. It's the culmination of a lifetime of doing great things and helping people. I am so happy to be able to be here. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jerry. And if I took credit for this, I would be a total fraud, and everybody should run away from frauds. This whole process that we're now using that is such a huge breakthrough, it's the biggest breakthrough I found in my lifetime, was given to us through inspiration to our scientist. God dropped him in my lap. I did what anybody that was given something like this would do. But let me give you a little bit of background. My background was I 35 years looking for products that were breakthroughs. A breakthrough is something that can do something that nothing else in the world can do as effectively, efficiently, or economically. And I found breakthroughs. My first breakthrough was in skincare, and Pat Boone and his daughter Debbie were our spokespersons on, and we started a little company with $5,000 in May of 1976. And 5 months later, our sales hit $1 million a week and just kept coming in week after week, month after month, and ultimately year after year. And people say, how can a $5,000 investment in a product and a marketing campaign turn into $1 million a week? Well, the answer is the product was a breakthrough. And after that, I kept looking for breakthroughs. We found one where people could lose weight without counting calories. That was Richard Simmons brought that one to me. That was called Dilamil. Millions of people got on the product, and we had millions lose weight. We had 1,000 people lose over 100 pounds, is what I was told. But we also had the Guinness Book of Records for weight loss. One man lost 715 pounds. That was a breakthrough. Another breakthrough came to us from a professor in college, and it was a program called Where There's a Will, There's an A, and it taught kids how to really learn far more effectively and get better grades. It would typically turn a D student into an A student, and it would do it within a few hours. And we had John Ritter and Michael Landon as our spokespersons on that one. And just product after product, breakthrough after breakthrough. That was the cornerstone of what I did. The one we're best known for was a piece of fitness equipment that was in, at the time, 4,000 rehab facilities. Today, it's in more than 30,000. More than 30 million people a year are rehabbed on the Total Gym. Well, we turned it into a piece of home fitness equipment, and Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley were my spokespersons. That one's now been on the air continuously for 26 years. It's done billions and billions of dollars in sales for the little company I used to be a part of. But anyway, that was my background. Well, in 2006, a medical doctor, triple board certified in oncology, immunology, and hematology, introduced me to a word I had never heard of called glutathione. And he explained to me that glutathione is the single most important molecule in life, right there with oxygen. Without glutathione, there'd be no life on Earth, no plant life, no trees, no animals, no fish, no birds, no humans. It's that important. It's that critical to life. It's produced by every cell in our body and serves over 400 functions. 15 of those are critical for life. And as I began to learn about it, I was amazed. The problem is that glutathione levels go down as we age. They decline by about 10 to 15% per decade. So at 73, which is my age, I should have less than half of the glutathione I had at the age of 20. Well, glutathione is the primary defender of the cell. And you're going to hear, I'll share some of the things it does in a minute, but it is your primary defense mechanism. And the assault on the cell never goes down, but glutathione does. And that creates all sorts of problems that we're going to talk about. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about glutathione, what it does. Number one, it's known as the body's master antioxidant. What does that mean? Well, an antioxidant deals primarily with free radicals. A free radical, every cell in your body is attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. A free radical is just a thief. It wants to steal an electron from the cell, and when it does, it damages or leaves the cell vulnerable. Glutathione and any other antioxidant, their role is to donate an electron to the free radical, and when it does, it neutralizes, or scientifically the right term is sequesters. It sequesters that free radical so it can't do any damage. And of course, we know about vitamin C, vitamin E. We know about the ones that your body makes, like catalase and superoxide dismutase and a few others. But every antioxidant that your body produces or that you ingest can take out one type of free radical, but can't take out any others. And you have multiple types of free radical based on composition, their source, what they're made up of. Glutathione is called the master antioxidant because it can sequester or neutralize any free radical, regardless of its type or source. And it's the only one that can. The difference between glutathione and all other antioxidants, all others are called monofocused. They each handle one type. They're kind of like a key to a motel room. You know, you get that little plastic key and you put it next to the door and it opens your lock, but it won't open any other locks. I've gone to the wrong rooms by mistake and tried those keys and nothing works. And I realize, oops, I'm at the wrong room. On the other hand, a master key, a friend of mine owns a big hotel, and a master key will open any door in the hotel. I mean, it's crazy. And that's what glutathione is. Glutathione is the master antioxidant because it can neutralize any free radical, regardless of its type or source or composition. Now, what does a free radical do? Well, it creates oxidative stress inside the cell. Oxidative stress creates inflammation, and inflammation is our mortal enemy. Inflammation accelerates our aging. It accelerates the aging of the cell. It accelerates the aging of our tissues and organs, and it accelerates our aging, okay? That's the damage of free radicals, and glutathione is number one. Now, the other thing about glutathione that makes it unique, when any other antioxidant neutralizes a free radical, it's spent, it's gone, it's worthless. However, vitamin C and vitamin E can each be recycled 3 to 5 times, and the recycling agent is glutathione. But what makes glutathione a miracle molecule is it actually recycles itself. And science can't tell how many times. I've heard some say 30,000 times. I've heard as many as 300,000 times. So it's kind of like a gun that keeps reloading itself when the enemy's coming at you. Bam, okay, put another bullet in, bam, takes out another one. That's what glutathione is in its antioxidant role. But glutathione does a lot of things besides that antioxidant role. In fact, this one's kind of important. When your body manufactures those red blood cells, hemoglobin, they're intended to bind to an oxygen molecule and deliver oxygen. That's how we get oxygen transfer in all animal life. Well, unfortunately, when hemoglobin's manufactured, it is improperly charged. So it cannot bind to oxygen. It's useless until it's reduced. It has to be reduced to what's called a +2. When it's reduced, it can bind to an oxygen molecule and deliver that oxygen. Well, the sole reduction agent of hemoglobin, the only thing that can reduce it, is glutathione. So oxygen transfer, impossible without glutathione. It's also the primary detoxifier of your cells. CDC did a study in the late 90s to see out of 2,000 people, what's the average person carry around and in terms of industrial chemicals that are toxic? Well, they tested for 143 industrial chemicals, and they wondered, does the average person carry around 3 of those, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15? Turns out every single person in the study, all 2,000 people, carried around every one of those 143 contaminants, those chemical. And then they tested in a few years later for 200 industrial chemicals, this time in the umbilical cord, to see what a fetus carries around. It carried around, every single fetus was carrying around 200, all 200 of the industrial chemicals they tested for. So that's bad news. That's really bad news. Well, guess what glutathione does? It is the detoxifier of the cell. It has this sticky sulfhydryl molecule that's kind of like flypaper, and it sticks to the chemical and exit it out of the cell. So that's huge. It detoxifies the cell. Why is that important? Well, your mitochondrial DNA, as long as it maintains its integrity and isn't compromised, the cell can't mutate. Guess what compromises and breaks the integrity of the mitochondrial DNA? Chemical toxins, the industrial chemicals. So according to microbiologists, as we lower the chemical load in the cell, we prolong the integrity of the mitochondrial DNA, and we postpone the potential to mutating. Thank you. So anyway, that's another thing it does. It detoxifies the cell. It is the sole, and this one's critical. And think about what we've just been through for the last few years. It is the sole protector of the immune cell. When you have high glutathione levels, the immune cells can reproduce rapidly in response to a bacterial or viral insult. When you have low glutathione levels, your immune cells, your T cells in particular, which are the assassins, they reproduce slowly. So more glutathione, they reproduce more rapidly. Low glutathione, they reproduce more slowly. The faster they can reproduce in response to a bacterial or viral insult, the better chance you have of beating the virus or the bacteria. So glutathione is critical for there. And we could go on and on and on. I've lectured on glutathione as long as 2 hours. Tonight I do a 1 hour show that's carried worldwide. It's an internet show, and I'm doing it on glutathione. And believe me, we will fill up the entire hour. So it's this incredible molecule. It declines as we age. It also declines based on oxidative stress consumes it, and that can be created by exercise, wrong food, breathing the wrong air, all sorts of things. So it's even a problem with children, glutathione levels. Well, I started funding glutathione enhancement clear back in 2007, and the conventional way to try to enhance glutathione utilization is to get the precursors through the gut intact, and that's not easy. Some do, some don't, to where L-cysteine, glutathione is made up of 3 amino acids, L-cysteine, glutamine, and glycine. The rate limiting factor is L-cysteine. Your body can't get enough. So why don't we just take cysteine capsules? Well, as soon as the cysteine hits the gut destroys it. Does the same thing with glutathione. Take glutathione, get it into your stomach, less than 9% will ever get to your cells. So it's inefficient, ineffective. Using conventional methods can be like trying to ride a bicycle up a hill in high gear. You know, your pedals turn real fast, but the bike moves real slow. Not efficient, not effective, not necessarily a breakthrough. Well, I met some nanoscientists, and in 2017, we started working. What would happen if we could take glutathione and L-cysteine and some other elements and reduce the particle size so tiny that they could instantly absorb into the bloodstream through the mucous membranes and sublingually in the venous cavity? What if we could do that? Then we would avoid the stomach and we go directly into the bloodstream. I mean, instantly. Well, that would be amazing. So we started working. You know, there are different ways you can nanosize. Some people use lipids. In fact, most people do. Most processes use lipids. What that is, you separate the particles, surround it with a lipid so they won't come back together. And that's nano process for most people. The problem is twofold. When you use liposomal, number one, you increase the size of the particle, and that defeats what we're trying to do with nanosizing them to a degree. Number two, you introduce a fat. In fact, in our back office, there's now a 2-minute lecture from a doctor that really tells why he doesn't use liposomal. You're introducing a fat to the cell, and we don't know long-term what that's going to do. And it's not going to be good. Your cells don't want more fat because the fats can absorb toxins and it can create additional oxidative stress and so on. So we found a way to encapsulate the nanoparticles with water. It's a proprietary process that we own. It's called hydrostat. And we own our own reactor. We manufacture everything in-house. Well, the good news is we started seeing amazing outcomes. This goes clear back to 2018. And the first thing I knew I would see if I'd really done this is we'd see a difference in athletic performance. We'd see a radical reduction in recovery time from exercise and from events. We'd see an increase in mental and physical stamina, and we'd see an increase in muscle output. So I went ahead, I circulated some lab batches to athletes, and the results were unbelievable. One of those athletes is a guy named Bill Gillespie. Bill had been strength and conditioning coach for the Seattle Seahawks, as well as for Liberty University football team and University of Washington. But Bill was an amateur weightlifter. And in 2009 or 2008, at 49 years old, Bill set the amateur world record. In other words, no drugs, bench pressing 804 pounds. Well, after that, because as we age, our lean muscle mass goes down and we age and everything doesn't work the way it's supposed to. It takes longer to recover. His lift went down, down, down until at 59, he was only lifting about 700 pounds. And I called Bill. He was a little discouraged. And I said, hey, I'm going to send you this stuff. It's nano and you swish it. And Bill, I think it's going to make a huge difference in your recovery and in what you can accomplish when you're lifting weight. He said, man, send it out. How do I use it? I said, you just swish it in your mouth, 30, 60 seconds. Well, Bill takes it to an extreme. He swishes for 4 minutes. And you do it once or twice a day. I said, do it right before you weight lift, right before an event or right before a workout, and then do it after the workout. Your recovery time will go way down. Well, he did, and called me the next day and said, Steve, this stuff's unbelievable. And the nice thing is there's no stimulant or anything. So it's heart healthy, brain healthy. There's really nothing bad that anybody's found with it. And so Bill started doing it. And in the next 6 months, as a 59-year-old, his bench press went to 915 pounds. Then as a 60-year-old, in the next 6 months, he took it all the way up to a world record of 1,050 pounds as a 60-year-old. He just retired a couple months ago, and his last lift of his last meet set a new world record in the bench press, 1,129.6 pounds. Okay. Well, guess what? His experience wasn't unique. We saw conditioned athletes, former Olympians, former football and baseball players, people that really care about their fitness. We started getting the stories in, and they were truly unbelievable. And one of the athletes that we started working with is a dear family friend, former combat veteran, a captain in the Army. Her name is Tammy McCreary. And she left the Army so she could have 3 little boys that were amazing. Now they're grown up. One just went into college. And but Tammy's a marathoner and a cyclist. So she had a 100-mile bike race coming up. This is in 2018 when I just had lab batches. And I sent her it, and she swished on Wednesday and did a 30-minute sprint on her bike, broke her personal record. Next day did a 35-mile run, broke her personal record. And the next day, or not, no, 2 days later, Saturday, she did this 100-mile bike race. Well, mile 35, which was the first leg, she broke a personal record again. And then 2 miles into the next leg, she ended up having this accident where she went end over end and hit the pavement so hard that it broke her helmet, gave her a very, very massive concussion, and her face hit the pavement at 22 miles an hour. Well, on Sunday, the plastic surgeon comes into her room and says, okay, that's going to take about 5 weeks to heal. Now, after it's completely cleared, wait a month, and then come see me and we'll work on the scarring. Well, she gets home on Tuesday night and thinks, hey, the stuff's nano. So she pours some on a cotton ball, applies it to the wounded areas of her face. And then next day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, she applies it to her face 3 times each day. And look at what happened. You can see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 days, 5 weeks of healing in 5 days. The plastic surgeon had never seen anything like this. Now, I had sold hundreds of millions of dollars of skincares. I had a number of skincare companies. I had one that Cher was my spokesperson, another one, Kathy Lee Gifford, another one, Christy Brinkley, another one was Angie Dickinson, another one, Ali McGraw, Lisa Hartman, Meredith Baxter Burney. So I loved skincare. The problem with skincare, you can't get good before and afters unless you're Botox. And no, you know, that's why they all use pretty models and say, look at how good their skin looks. Well, yeah, excuse me, anybody at 25 usually has good skin. But anyway, so I put some in some spray bottles, sent it out to people and said, friends, and said, try spraying your face. Well, the one in the middle there, who's now a Neumi associate, this is long before Neumi, this is 2018, she sprayed her face 5 times a day for 7 weeks. When I got the before and after, and it was one of several I got from other people as well, the results were amazing. Better than Botox, in my opinion, because it didn't just address wrinkles. The whole face tightened up. It was almost like there was a facelift, and there wasn't. But look at how it opened her eyes. I mean, that was crazy. I sent some pictures to my former formulator, who was the president of the American Society of Cosmetic Chemists, a brilliant man. In fact, he became a senior vice president of R&D at Allergan, which makes Botox. I sent him these pictures, and he said, Steve, nothing can do what your product's doing. How are you doing it? And I said, hey, I've nanosized glutathione. I've nanosized L-cysteine. And so we went ahead. The before and afters we got were truly amazing. And so we went ahead and decided to add to it collagen, hyaluronic acid, and some other peptides. We nanosized them to make them more bioavailability in the skin, more bioavailable. And the results have been amazing. To this day, nobody is seeing the kinds of things we're seeing with our supplement or with our topical spray. So because we manufacture our own products right here using our own clean room, our own reactor for nanosizing and everything, we're able to keep the costs down. And as a result, we have a compensation plan that many are calling the most generous in the industry, but it also allows us to come out at a more competitive price. And we're excited about that because we want to get this all over the world, every continent, third world, second world, and first world. but we need people to join our Neumi family. And Jerry, I'm going to turn it back to you, bud.
Steve, joining your family is such a great offer. And hopefully people understand that this is not something that comes along every day. And Steve is literally partnering with us rather than taking this to billion-dollar conglomerates, rather than taking this into TV campaigns. He's giving us an opportunity. And I believe it's because what's in his heart is truly wanting to help people. And now of all times, people on this planet need this more than ever for so many reasons. Not only the miracle molecule that we don't have enough of, that now we can and we have access to, but we have access to a business that's going to flourish and change the lives of millions of people. And fortunately, we're hearing about this right now as it's just getting started. So definitely, if you're new on this call, or if someone told you to get on this call, get back to them as soon as possible, because I've actually faltered at times and not got the word out to people I know, and I see them show up on this call referred by others. It's happening, and it's happening fast. So we can't encourage you enough to jump on board right away after this call and get ready, fasten your seatbelt. I've never seen anything like it. Thank you, Steve. God bless all of you for spending the last 25, 30 minutes with us. And it will turn out to be the greatest investment you've ever made in your life. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.